All right, guys, you guys go play. Hey guys, I'm Chris, your real estate problem solver. Now, if you're living in Warner Robins, you know that this is not a place of a lot of hustle and bustle compared to Atlanta, Chicago, and some of the other places. But if you are moving to Warner Robins, then you might be interested in knowing where some of the fun places are or the points of interest are, so you have something to do with the kids when it's time to hear those famous words.
Pa, I'm bored.
So in this video, we're going to go through some points of interest that you might be interested in. So when you get here, you'll be able to keep them occupied and make sure that there's always something going on in your life. Of course, the kids get taken care of first, so let's start off with Rigby's Entertainment Complex. Rigby's is one hotspot for birthdays and kids events because they've got all the arcades, they got laser tag, go-karts, bowling, and even a water park in the summer months. Of course, if you're looking for something quieter to do, then of course every military town has got golf courses, and we're no different. Some of the choices we have are Landings Golf Club, just south of Robins Air Force Base. We've got International City, which is right off of Sandy Run in Bonaire. And then of course we have Houston Lake Country Club, which is off of Houston Lake Road, next to Houston Lake. And there's extra golf courses in Hawkinsville, Cordele, and Macon if you get bored with these choices and don't mind taking a little drive. Now, if you're moving to Warner Robins and your thing is fishing, well, we got you covered too. Here we got a couple ponds around Warner Robins, like Lake Joy, which is a smaller pond. It's great for kayak fishing. And then it spills down into Houston Lake, which is the one behind me. And as you can tell, it's also a no-wake pond, which means he can't go any faster than what he's doing right now. But there's also Leisure Lake and a couple other smaller ponds. If you want to go into something bigger, let me show you that next. So if Houston Lake and Lake Joy is not quite big enough for you and you want some room to run, maybe you ought to try something bigger. Okay, that's much better. So we're up here at Lake Tobesofkee. Now this is up in Macon, which is a little bit north of Warner Robins, but it's definitely got the room to run. You've already got a marina sitting right here behind me, and if you go around the corner, we're going to take a few pictures and show you a few other parts of Lake Tobesofkee. Now this isn't the only lake in the area. We've also got Lake St. Clair, and a little bit farther north we've got Lake Jackson. And if you want to go a little further south, one of my favorite places is Lake Blackshear. Now that's down in Cordele. It's about a 45-minute drive, but if you want crappie fishing and bass fishing, that's definitely the place to go. Oh, hey. So if you're spending any time in Georgia, of course, one of the staples of our life around here is hunting. So one of the fun things that we like to do around here is sit in a stand and see what comes by. Now Georgia's got a lot of variety of wild game to offer, like of course white-tailed deer, turkey, dove, duck, and even wild pig. Now of course wild pig is not considered a game animal. They're considered wild livestock, which means if it's on your property, you can shoot it pretty much year round. So you can have pork in the freezer all year long if you really want to. Now, if you're coming into Warner Robins for military purposes, the military base, Robins Air Force Base, has a lot of hunting areas in the back areas. They've got an archery only area too. All you have to do is go to the recreation center at the back of Robins Air Force Base and talk to them. They can tell you how to go through the safety course for Robins Air Force Base, and then the processes for signing up to hunt the areas on the base. Now, if you're not going on base and you don't have a place to hunt, there are wildlife management areas all over middle Georgia. Okmulgee being one of the biggest ones around here, which also has a shooting range and fishing ponds. So if you're interested in hunting or have never tried hunting, maybe you should give it a try. Middle Georgia's got a good place to to enjoy it and learn a lot about it. Excuse me. I know trekking through the woods and hunting big game might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you know, you gotta let out some aggression sometime. Maybe an option would be to hunt your friends. And the place to do that would be Big Indian Paintball. So let's go take a look at this and see what kind of trouble we can get into. They're open Saturday and Sunday and weekdays by appointments, and they provide fields for Nerf, Jelly Ball, and of course Airsoft and Paintball, which are their big draws. And when they have tournaments, they a lot of times will let the patrons spend the night and camp out in the front yard. Just don't forget to sign your waiver before you start playing. Now all this activity is going to work up a thirst, so us adults need to go find us a watering hole. Now if you like craft beers and IPAs, then we've got places around here like Black Barley and Tap and Pour. If you're into more traditional drinks, then we've got plenty of choices like Gracie's Rooftop, Golf Pub, and the Game On Sports Bar, just to name a few. But there's one that I really want to show you here real quick. So speaking of fun things to do, have you ever had the urge to grab a stiff drink and start throwing sharp objects? Well, if you have, you definitely want to try out Splinter's Axe House. Come on, let's go inside and talk to the owner. All right, guys, so we're with Bear Shed, the owner of Splinter's Axe House. And Bear, everybody wants to know, what was the concept? Where did the concept for this place come from?
Well, it actually had another owner at the time. He came to me, he's like, hey, let's go on an axling business or venture. And I've never even heard of it. And I guess there's a few everywhere in the nation now. And so I was at Little Rock for training, and I come back and he's like, hey, you gotta build it now. So, and you know how Warner Robins is, the new hotness, and you got people coming. So I actually talked them into building the bar and expanding out because I wanted to keep growing.
So the knife throwing is not a new concept?
So yeah, it's not. So they've actually, there's a lot of axling places that have been open for 7-8 years. They have actually WATL, the World Axling League now, that's on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
So I just don't do that currently right now. So, but there's other leagues. There's other leagues in the nation as well. That's not the only one. So
what kind of events do y'all host or services?
So we do every Tuesday we have trivia, and every Thursday we have karaoke. We've had cookie making classes. We've had charcuterie boards.
And y'all are also mobile too, right?
Correct. I got the mobile axle and trailer.
So they can come to you if you don't want to come to them. Okay, great, excellent. Well, so like I said, if you want a stiff drink and play with sharp objects, you know where to go, guys. Another option might be bowling. If you've never tried it, it's a lot of fun. And we've got Gold Cup Bowling right here on Russell Parkway. So come out, have some fun, run a couple games, and see if it's something that you might like. And of course, all the scoreboards are electronic and user-friendly. And if you have kids under 10 years old, you can request gutter guards so they don't make gutter balls all day. Of course, you've got this one on Russell Parkway, but then you've also got the smaller one on Robins Air Force Base, which of course Human Resources won't let me film that one because it's inside the gate. Of course, if you're a movie buff, you can always keep up with the latest movies by going to the Houston Lake Cinema, which is actually at 96 in Lake Joy, or the Galleria Cinema at the Galleria Mall at Houston Lake Road and Watson. Now the next place you're going to want to visit is the Perry National Fair in Perry, Georgia. Now this place has events going all year round, including equestrian shows, livestock shows, and even gun shows. But the one that everybody always goes to is the Georgia National Fair in October. Now this event happens every year, which of course includes all the carnival rides and carnival food from every walk of life, the livestock shows, and all kinds of trade shows, from wood miser saw blades to tractors to hot tubs and spas. So this is one you definitely do not want to miss. Now, of course, Warner Robins was made famous by Robins Air Force Base, but the other point of interest that you might not be aware of is the other fun fact that the Museum of Aviation is also here too, which is one of the biggest ones in the Southeast. So let's go take a look and see what makes it so special. Now, even though it's predominantly military, the Museum of Aviation has a complete history of the aircraft in the United States and development of the aircraft from the Wright brothers all the way through World War I, World War II, Vietnam, all the way up to Desert Storm and today's new standards. So anything that you can think of pertaining to the military and civilian history of aviation is going to be here at the museum. Now, for 5 points, can you tell me what bird this is right here? Well, if you said the B-1 bomber, you're right. After my 20 years of being an aircraft mechanic at Robins Air Force Base, I was fortunate enough to watch a lot of these birds get towed right down Highway 247 in order to come in here to become a display for everybody to see. So if you've got kids that are interested in airplanes, this is definitely the place to bring them. There are 5 hangars full of everything from World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, and even Afghanistan and the recent Desert Storm, all the wars, all the history. For example, this plane right here, the C-141, was just brought in here. We watched the last one get retired in 2006 or 7, and it flew out. We had a ceremony out at Robins Air Force Base, and one of them that was stayed behind here got towed all the way over here to become a display. So this place is full of history and all kinds of neat stuff to teach the kids about. Each building has a different theme. While one building will show the history of wars with the uniforms, tools, maps, and memorabilia of the times, other buildings will show the history of aviation itself, from the Wright brothers to the SR-71, F-15s, and even the unmanned drone, the Global Hawk. Well, unfortunately, they were supposed to have a C-5 cockpit here at the museum, but apparently it got shipped to another museum. Why I was going to show you was because I spent 10 years on C-5s as a mechanic, and that plane's kind of near and dear to my heart. So let's go on to the next place to have some fun. Now, don't think for a second that I forgot about the local parks and recreation centers around the area. Middle Georgia is covered in different parks and recreation from Centerville, Warner Robins, and Hawkinsville, and Perry. Now, if you click on the link at the top of the screen here, it's going to go to our video that explains all about the parks and recreation centers around this area. I think you'll find it pretty interesting. So you've got plenty of choices to have a playground, walking areas, riding your bike, pickleball, tennis, basketball, baseball, and even the main recreation center on Houston Road in the middle of Warner Robins. So try any of these areas to have a little bit of fun with the family and get out and get some exercise. Now, with all the places we had to go and the mileage that we had to drive to get the footage for this video, I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit longer, but that's all right. Short and sweet is good too. So if you live in Warner Robins and you know some places that we did not mention, make sure to put comments below, share with everybody all the places and the points of interest that you like, so we can all have fun with it too. And if you are coming to Warner Robins and you need to learn some more information about it, our Living in Warner Robins video is right here. Click on it and it'll give you all the ins and outs and help you navigate the area. I'm Chris, your real estate problem solver, and I'll talk to you on the next video.